Mom, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Paula. All right, everybody. Chew quietly. Have you had a good morning so far? It's too bad they couldn't found a nicer hotel for us, right? Spirit of Women does it right. I owe my thanks to Paula, Tanya, Dana, everybody from Spirit of Women. It's a great group. I love this organization. And Tanya and I very much have a shared vision for the future of healthcare and healthcare marketing. Hey, are there any men out there? Raise your hand if there's a man. 1, 2, 3. I saw one poor guy sitting off by himself at breakfast this morning. I felt bad. I'm going to talk about the future of healthcare marketing. And I'm not a futurist. I'm just a healthcare marketer. I'm a normal guy. But I think about the future. I have to for my company and its future, and for my clients. I have to be always projecting where are we going to go. And you guys know a lot about where we're going. You know, population health is our future. In the past, healthcare has been very transactional. Right? You go to the doctor when you're sick, and that's really the extent of our relationships with our healthcare providers. Well, that's going to change. First of all, that wasn't a very healthy approach to healthcare. It's going to change to the point where we are charged as healthcare professionals, both clinicians and marketers, with keeping people healthy, keeping them out of the hospital, working on prevention and wellness. Does that resonate with you all? Do you know this is coming? Yes. All right. So to do that, one of the things I work with lots of physicians. I meet with hundreds and hundreds of physicians every year. I do a lot of videotaping and interviewing with physicians for my clients. And one of the things I hear physicians say often is, you know, if our compensation the model of compensation is going to change, where we're paid based on our ability to keep people healthy and keep them out of the hospital, that is very dependent on the patient. We need compliant patients. We need patients who are going to do what they should do for their own health. We need them engaged and interested in their health. And in the past, have we been working on that? No. That's not what we've done in healthcare. We've advertised, spewed information. The model has been throw information and content. We've marketed service lines. We have not engaged consumers and got them actively involved in their health. That needs to change. And what does that mean for how many of you are marketers? Raise your hand. To some degree. Excellent. And if you're not a marketer, go back and talk to your marketers about this. It means marketing has to change. The world has changed. We have to acknowledge it. And we have to change along with it. I mean, yesterday flying out here, I spent 5 hours working online on an airplane. That's the way of the world now. I got here last night at 5:30. I had a Twitter chat. It's called the Healthcare Leaders Group. We have a weekly chat on Tuesday evenings. And it's a little community that I belong to. It's spectacular, incredible people. So I went to my hotel room, logged on, did my Twitter chat with friends all over the country, most of whom I've never met. And then we went to the little black dress reception, which nobody told me I needed a little black dress. I felt very left out. It was awkward. But the world has changed, and we need to change with it. So what does healthcare marketing look like in the future? We'll still do some advertising. We'll do ads for service lines, whether it's cardiology or oncology or whatever it might be. But the main thrust of healthcare marketing has to change. And my vision is it's about community. We need to become community builders as healthcare marketers. I want to move from marketing to or at women to engaging them and marketing with them. Make them a part of the marketing. And I'll tell you how I am trying to do it right now with my clients and how I hope all of you will be doing it in the future. I love this term, return on community. And I'm going to write an article about it because I think not much has been done on it. It's so important. I think you have to make the investment in community. It's a long-term investment. Marketing is much more subtle than it used to be. You know, it's building relationships. It's deepening people's engagement with your brand. And you do that through community. And by delivering value to people who come to your website, to your Facebook page, to Twitter, wherever it might be, to your Pinterest site. How many of you are on Pinterest? How many of you have not at this moment, but amazing. I mean, at least half the hands in the room went up. I'm a guy, I hope you know this. I'm a guy, and I will tell you I'm on Pinterest, and I have a pretty big blogger. I've been blogging since 2007 about healthcare marketing. And right now, the second leading driver of traffic to my healthcare marketing blog is Pinterest. Amazing. Every time I do a blog post, or most of the time, there's an image in the post. I pin it on one of my Pinterest pin boards, and that helps drive traffic back to my blog. And luckily, some of my followers repin it, and so on and so forth. So all of these places are opportunities, whether it's your website, Pinterest, Facebook, to create community and to create an experience that has value for that female healthcare consumer. And most of all, you want to deepen their engagement with your brand. Do you think they want a deeper level of engagement with your brand? They do. So I tell everybody, wherever I go, wherever I can get somebody to listen to me, that I'm in the business of creating spaces. I create spaces online for my clients where consumers can come, and primarily women, where they can come online and gather and share information. Talk to others with similar interests. These are communities of shared interest. And if you don't follow patient communities online, you should. Organizations like Inspire, there are lots of them out there, but Inspire is one of my favorites because they're friends of mine. But the kinds of information patients and family members are sharing with each other online, it's incredible. They want to find others who are going through the same things they're going through, whether it's weight loss, dealing with diabetes, hypertension, childbirth, whatever. They want to find other people who've been through similar situations or who are going through similar situations that they can share with. And I am amazed. The big learning experience for me over the last 5 years has been to see how much how easy it is for them to come together into community. It blows me away. They will just gather, and I'll give you some examples in a second. They will gather and they will start sharing, and they are so generous with one another and so supportive. It's amazing. So these communities we form are a place where we can engage them. We let them have conversation, but we infuse those communities with good health information from the hospital or the healthcare provider, with resources that they will value. And suddenly you're not just advertising at them. You're not just bringing them to a Facebook page where you're putting wall post after wall post about what event the hospital's doing. You're actually bringing them to a place that has incredible value where they can find others just like them. That's priceless. And you're also giving them the resources, introducing them to your physician specialist, whoever it might be, while they're there. That's a deeper, more valuable relationship. So what kind of environments are these? They could be blogs. I'm a huge fan of blogs. And we've created a lot of women's blogs and mommy blogs for our clients, and I'm blown away by the response they've gotten. They can be the platforms I mentioned earlier, Pinterest, Facebook, you name it. They can be true online communities that are like forums where patients can join and they can sign up for the breast cancer group or the diabetes group or whatever it might be. I love Inspire. As I said earlier, they've had 5 million blog posts by members so far. They have a really cool partnership with Stanford Medicine on Stanford's Scope blog. If you haven't ever checked it out, it's a great blog. And they're doing a rare disease, patients who are dealing with rare diseases posts. They put them up, I think, monthly, but it's a spectacular series about the patient, and the patients are writing the posts. It's spectacular. And I think one of the things that's missing in healthcare, it's missing on our websites at hospitals, it's missing in almost everything we do, is the voice of the patient. It blows me away. I go to all these healthcare marketing conferences, you almost never see a patient panel. How much could we as marketers learn if we had patients in front of us and we could listen to them? The other thing I think is interesting, and believe me, I get tired of hearing from doctors all the time. You know, they have ideas in the shower about what good marketing is. But and I'm not exaggerating, as you know. But But I do think from a marketing perspective, there are some great physician leaders and thought leaders that we could hear from as well. So I really value the voice of the patient and want to find ways to acquire that. And by creating these communities, you have that opportunity to listen. And listening is a huge part of good marketing. And something, in general, we don't do nearly enough. And your website, I'm going to show you an example in a minute of bad websites. But your website, it's not a great opportunity for creating community, but it is a great opportunity for providing value to the women who come to it. And believe me, you are probably not doing as well as you should. I know I'm not doing as well as I should with my company's website. It's always an opportunity to get better. But I'll show you exactly how I think we can make our websites more engaging. A really easy way. Alright, so one example of community, my company built this blog and maintains it for Signature Healthcare in Brockton, Massachusetts. Signature Healthcare hired us. They're in a suburb of Boston, about 30 minutes south of Boston. They hired us there in a rough area. They wanted to win over suburban moms because that's the bread and butter. And we suggested a mommy blog strategy integrated with all their other social media and even traditional advertising. This is probably the most successful blog I've ever been a part of. This blog, as of last week, had 100,000 visitors in the first 2.5 years. Would you like to have a blog that brought in 100,000 women? Yes? Raise your hand. Pretty good. And we're really soft in our selling. There are links and tabs with information about the hospital, but we do not push it. Our job is to provide a forum for women to come together and share information. We created a Facebook contest where we recruited these bloggers online. They're women from the community who write the blog, who write the post. So we don't have to do the writing, we do some editing for them. But we recruited them online. It was a great contest on Facebook, and it was wild to see. They started building community while the contest was going on the Facebook page. You know, we had them write on the wall why they thought they would be a great blogger. So they would write, and then someone else would say, oh, I know Sharon, she's wonderful, she'd be a great blogger. And then someone else would write a post about why she'd be a great blogger. And then they'd start talking to each other and exchanging recipes. It was amazing. So this has been phenomenal. We have over 2,500 subscribers right now to this blog. And that means these are people who opted in. And every time one of these women writes a blog post, an email goes out to those 2,500 people. We have about 400 people a day coming to this blog. It's spectacular. And it's an example of the way healthcare marketing is changing. This is better than any advertising they pay for. And they spend they pay my company, basically, to work 10 hours a month managing. That's all it takes. It's phenomenal. And talk about engagement. It had 600 comments in the first 2 years. People are talking to each other using the blog. Lexington Medical Center, we took a different route. We created a blog that's an every woman blog. They're women of all ages and different generations. It's not a mommy blog at all. We have one cancer survivor who blogs. They're incredible women. Again, they had 27,000 visits in 2012 in Columbia, South Carolina, 562 comments. Remarkable. And the stories these bloggers tell, if you don't read mommy blogs, it's amazing. I'm blown away. Here's Rashonda. She's one of our bloggers for the Every Woman blog, Lexington Medical Center. I'm just going to let you meet her to see why I like her so much.
You can do it. Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Rashonda Pratt, and I'm the mother of 3, a 5-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 1-year-old. I've also been married 6 years. I'm also a mompreneur, they call us. I run 2 of my own businesses, and I'm also a leader in my church. I do a lot of things. And so I started a blog called Supermodel. It's actually a play off the word supermodel. I started the blog because one of my 25-year-old single friends always makes fun of my life in a positive, nice way. But she always calls me. She's like, "Hey, Ro, what are you doing?" I said, "Oh, girl, I'm living the glamorous life." My 1-year-old just spit up on me. The 3-year-old's having a temper tantrum, and I can't even find the 5-year-old. But having a glamorous life. So I decided to start this blog because of everything that was going on in my life. I needed my own personal outlet. And I remembered very long ago, my older sister gave me a diary when I was younger. And I remember how much that diary was so therapeutic for me. I come from a family who's from the Caribbean, Trinidad and Tobago. And so in our family, we're very loud and we talk a lot. And so in those years growing up, I didn't really have an outlet. So my diary was my outlet. And so I started blogging, found out about the blog contest through Lexington Medical, and I just started my blog like I think a week before it. And I just said, well, you know what? I'm just going to try it and see what happens. Maybe someone might find all of my organized chaos very interesting. And I was so surprised to find out that someone's actually reading this stuff. This is great. Someone finds humor and comfort in everything that's going on in my life. But I started, I have a heart and a passion for women finding out what they're called to do, what's their God-given gift, what are they supposed to bless not only their family, but the world with. And so if Supermodel, navigating through the runway of life can help people do that, then I feel like that my heart's calling. Though I'm, breaking down in my closet crying because my kids are all over the place and business is here and there's so many hats that I wear during the day. But to get a response from somebody who said that, you know what, though you have some funny stuff going on in your life, the end of your blog really blessed me, then I feel like my life's work has been accomplished. So I'm very, very excited to be a part of this.
So that's Rashonda. And I'll tell you, when we recruit these moms, in this case we recruited 8 moms, or 8 women to be bloggers, we bring them together. That was actually what we call blogger brunch. We bring them together before they start blogging, videotape them. That's just me with my little flip camera. You can tell it's horrible quality. And we make the video the first introductory blog post from them so you can meet them and get to know them, and then the videos are on there forever. But while they're at this luncheon or brunch, we teach them how to be bloggers. And frankly, a lot of them are already blogging on their own. They have family blogs or something. It's an amazing trend. But we teach them how to be a community, too. I mean, they naturally want to go that direction. But we tell them, nobody's reading the blog on day one. You have to support each other. The 8 of you are the community at this time. So comment on each other's blog posts. Tweet. And we if they aren't on Twitter, we teach them about Twitter. We do a Twitter 101. Tweet a link. Make sure you put the link on your Facebook page. And we do the math. I mean, when we recruit these bloggers, we look at how many Facebook followers they have. So that's a factor. So if each one has 300 followers and we've got 8 of them, that's 2,400 fans from day one. And we want to capture that. So it's a really interesting process, and it's been so educational for me to be a part of it. I also want to think of your website as an environment that needs to be inviting, it needs to invite community, and it needs to invite engagement. And you guys see healthcare websites and hospital websites. This is a real, I blocked out the name of the hospital, I hope. This is a real physician finder page from a hospital. And this is OBGYN, mind you. And that's the doctor. That's the real photo. And I don't know, you guys have probably seen the ones with the silhouette. It doesn't even have the photo. And it says photo not available. I'm sorry. I would not put the doctor there until we have a good photo. Now, I mean, this looks like a mugshot truly from prison, doesn't it? Is this any way to engage women coming to your website? It's a complete failure, right? My daughter would say fail. I don't even want to deal with photos, frankly. I want video. I want you to have videos of your physicians on your website, and I want you to do it incredibly well. So I'm going to show you some videos that we've created for a client, same client, Signature Healthcare in Brockton, Massachusetts. They wanted to do a lot of things with these videos of their physicians. They want to retain their physicians. They want to attract new physicians and look like a physician-friendly organization. And they want to be attractive to consumers who come to the site to learn about their doctors. So this website, we created a separate microsite with videos of all their physicians, and the stories, their bios. We put little interesting tidbits about each physician. If they like to ride bikes or they're long-distance runners, whatever it might be, we put that in their bio. The important thing about this website is it's so much more engaging than the old physician finder that they had. In the first 3 months that we had this microsite up, it matched the traffic that their physician finder had for the entire prior year. So in 3 months, we matched 12 months of traffic. That speaks to how compelling it is. But look at these videos and tell me, if you were looking for a new OBGYN, is this the kind of information that might help you make that choice? This is Tutasi Waters. She's my absolute favorite doctor.
What my patients probably don't know about me is that I'm a big Cartoon Network fan. And I think it's because what I do for a living is so intense. So for me to sit down and just laugh at something incredibly silly is relaxing for me. My name is Tutasi Waters, and I'm an obstetrician gynecologist at Signature Healthcare. I first decided to start saying I want to be a doctor when I was 7. And then later in high school, my first anatomy lab is when it really clicked for me that I wanted to be a physician. I fell in love with wanting to understand how the human body worked. And for me, obstetrics and gynecology was the perfect mix. From the obstetric side, I really enjoy watching a human life from its very beginnings. And from the gynecologic side, I enjoy talking with women and getting to know them and through them their life experiences. I'm really there to help encourage them to maintain their health. Those one-on-one interactions where you're just sitting with another human being and trying to help them understand a little bit more about themselves. If I feel like I've accomplished that, then it is a good day.
What do you think? Should be good OBGYN? And that's not easy to do. You know, I would tell you if you set out to interview physicians, the quality comes in the interview. You need an interviewer who knows how to sit there across from a physician and have a dialogue with that physician where they feel like they're talking to a peer and someone who understands them. I'll tell you the best question I ask doctors, and I sit there and I interview every one of them personally. And the best question I ask them is, tell me about the day where you're driving home from work and you're saying, this is the kind of day, this is why I went to medicine. Tell me about that day. That gets me my best responses, absolutely. It's not, where did you go to medical school? Why did you go into obstetrics instead of, whatever. It's those kinds of questions about, when was the first time you ever thought about becoming a doctor? Not why did you become a doctor, but when was the first moment? You hear incredible stories. I'll play you another video. This one of the challenges with Signature Healthcare was they have so many physicians who are foreign-born or of some ethnicity. They have thick accents. So we wanted to absolutely portray them in the best possible light. And this Rosa Bermudez Emanuele is fabulous.
As far as I can remember, I've always wanted to be a physician. My father was a physician, different kind. He's a radiologist, but I grew up seeing him as a resident, working late nights and discussing cases with his colleagues. I found it fascinating. My name is Rosa Bermudez, and I'm an OBGYN in Signature Healthcare. What made me choose OBGYN, I remember that being my first rotation in medical school. I loved the excitement of being called and rushing to the hospital to witness one of the best experiences a human being can experience, which is the birth of their child. It was amazing to me, and I fell in love with it. I love my role as an OBGYN. What makes my job fulfilling is seeing my patients every day, to be happy to see me and me being happy to see them, and have that trust between us. I can be a teacher and a student for my patients. That dynamic between my patients and I am very grateful to experience it every day.
And these are only a minute and 10 seconds, roughly, a minute and 20 seconds. So you don't need a lot of content, but boy, does this enrich your website to have this kind of content on it. And if you put it on YouTube, we put this everywhere. Google+, YouTube, Facebook, you name it. We leverage this content, so the investment the client makes in this goes a really long way. The last video I'm going to show you is Dr. Brown. And Dr. Lauren Brown argued with me for 45 minutes before she would let me videotape her. She was convinced I was going to ruin her career. I mean, she told me she thought it would hurt her patient panel, that she would lose patients because this was going to be so bad. She was so convinced she would not come off well on video. And I worked with her and she finally agreed to let us videotape on the condition that she would get to review it, and if she didn't like it, it wouldn't run. So this was the most challenging video I've ever been a part of producing of a physician, and you'll see how it came out.
I'm a big gardener. I love to spend time out in the yard. It sort of mirrors what I do at work, tending to plants and landscaping and watching my flowers grow and develop. I'll take them and nurture them and see what happens, and usually it turns out pretty good. My name is Lauren Brown. I work at Signature Healthcare in the Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology. I'm from a long line of caretakers in the family. My father was a dentist, my mother was a clinical nurse specialist in psychiatric nursing, and I saw what they did to provide for their patients. And by watching them, I realized that it's a fulfilling career. I chose obstetrics and gynecology because of the diversity that it provides and the patient-physician relationship that develops over time through the reproductive years and also through the postmenopausal years. And that's very important. I found that to be something that I would enjoy throughout my career. I think a good day for me is when I've had several successful deliveries. Everyone's happy, mother's happy, father's happy, family's happy. And just being there, starting a new life and seeing a new life being born, and that's really fulfilling for me.
So did she come out all right? She hasn't told me to take it down, so I think she's happy with it. So my message to you is simple, and I need 1 minute and I'm done. It's think about the role of the marketer as a community builder in creating these environments. You know, one of the things I love about healthcare today is we're finally out of the world of these cinder block hospitals that are institutions in the worst sense of the world. We're building incredible healing environments, which are great for the staff who work there, for the families and the patients who go there. Every time I go to one of these openings of new facilities, I'm blown away. But we need to do the same thing online. Because the majority of people, we don't want coming through the doors of our hospital. At least we don't want them coming through too often. We want to keep them healthy and well. And the way we can engage them is by creating content, whether it's on your website, on Facebook, on Pinterest, through a blog, and bringing them together in a sense of community that allows them to really feel free to share information and to ask us questions and to have a dialogue with us. That's when we can be at our best, I think. So thank you. That's it.